All right. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Aaron Whittier. We're excited you guys are all here on a Tuesday evening, or it might be Wednesday. You might be calling in or zooming in from Australia, or you might be in Europe seeing the replay. We're not sure, but this company and our team is growing globally, all over Europe, all across the United States and Australia, amongst other countries. So if you're here, either watching the replay or here tonight live with us, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're watching the replay. And there's a lot of exciting things to share. What's going on? You might have been invited here tonight because someone said you got to see these devices, or maybe you tried this technology just recently and you wanted to learn a little bit more, or maybe someone has done incredibly well financially in just a short time. So I'm going to share a little bit of both tonight, and you may be here for one or the other or both. But again, we're glad you're here. So let me go ahead and kick it off here. This in the United States, I'm going to talk like I said, if you're global right now, you're not in the United States, I'm going to focus really quickly. It may not be as bad for you in whatever country you're in as it is here in the States, but it is really bad. Two big challenges no one prepares us for really in the States and maybe across the world is proactive wellness, strategic timing, and real leverage. You know, in the United States, we spend more on healthcare than any nation in history. Why are we still getting sicker? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. And listen, I'm not here to educate any of you on the crisis that's going on in the United States. If you live here, you're fully aware of what's been going on in big pharma and all these things that are really keeping us sick. And they want us to stay sick. Chronic illness is rising, daily prescriptions are rising. There's a crisis here with obesity, inactivity. We spend 9.5 hours per day sitting, which obviously increases the risk of cardiovascular issues, amongst other issues. And let's face it, we're not getting any younger. I'm 55 years old. My mother's 75. The baby boomers right now they're hurting, because of what they put their bodies through, because of the way our country works on medicine and prescribes everything and treats things with prescriptions. And 70% of adults in the United States take at least one prescription drug daily. And over the lifetime, the average American will ingest 50,000 pills and still never be taught how to make their body work better. Isn't it crazy, right? They don't teach us in school really. They teach us health class, but they don't really teach us anything, right? So the system makes money, obviously, when we stay sicker, right? We obviously know that. We work off the reactive model. Here in the United States, we wait for symptoms, we diagnose, and then we prescribe. And obviously, you all know our food is not good either. The way they farm food, the way they, pesticides and all these different things. It's really done a number on our bodies. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight about the proactive model. Let's be proactive. We're going to support the body daily, improve resilience, and optimize function. So, I don't know if you guys are all familiar, you've been paying attention, but the global wellness industry right now is experiencing massive growth. And a big reason is because of something we call biohacking, which includes PEMF, red light therapy, and recovery tech. And there's a major global shift, on how people approach, health. And people want drug-free solutions. The world's shifting towards prevention, not just treatment, what we do in the States, right? And so there's a big reason why all this stuff is growing, and we're going to talk a little bit about why, this stuff is growing right now in the States and across the world. And we're going to talk about a company where it lies right in the middle of it, and that's called Olylife. We're going to talk about that tonight. So this company, Olylife, it's only 3.5 years old. They had 3 years of research and development. There's, owned laboratories in Sweden and Germany and European certifications. And these devices we're going to talk about in a minute, which are doing incredibly well for people, physically and mentally and all different things. They're made with advanced chips and rare metals only found in Japan. There's a global presence right now. They're growing like crazy across the world, but the headquarters are in Singapore. It's actually a Singaporean company. There's headquarters in Xiamen, China, branch offices in Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Hong Kong. And right now they're expanding rapidly in the United States, South Korea, Canada, amongst other countries, Europe. I mean, it's growing like crazy. I've never seen anything in my 30 years in this industry anything grows quite like this. And people get the results that these devices, I've never seen anything quite like it. So let's talk a little bit about, basically AI powered wellness tech company. That's what they are. They did 80 million. They're doing 80 million plus per month just in Asia right now in revenue. 80 million plus per month. This company did $2 billion in annual revenue their second year in business. I mean, that's just crazy, right? And on the business side, the people that actually were responsible for spreading the word across Asia, being there in the beginning when the timing was right, which it still is right now in Asia, it's still wide open in Asia, but already over 500 millionaires were created in just 3 years. Think about that. I mean, that is absolutely mind blowing, right? They ship to over 160 countries right now. So, basically just anywhere in the world, they ship these devices. So we got, we got patents, and that's a big deal, right? 167 plus patents globally on these devices we have here. So we got the proof these devices work and they do what they say they do. We also have scientific backing. We're going to talk a little bit about PEMF. I know if you've never heard that before, right? We're going to talk about what it is and also terahertz. What these do, these energies, what they do. I mean, you can look up. I encourage you after this Zoom or after you watch the replay, go to any kind of AI you like to use, whether it's ChatGPT or whatever it is, and go look up what are the benefits of PEMF, and you'll see it's going to say, helps with inflammation, helps with circulation, helps with all these things. It's all positive. It's absolutely crazy. So PEMF, it stands for Pulsed Electromagnetic Field Therapy. It was originally developed by NASA to support astronauts in zero gravity environments. So, when they're out there, it does a number on their bodies, right? So benefits of PEMF: encourages cell repair, regeneration, supports healthy circulation, assists with the body's natural detox process, promotes ease and healthy movement. It supports overall wellness in areas such as bone health, nerve function, metabolic balance, cardiovascular vitality. You look at these astronauts and they came back from space, they've been out there for a long time. They can't even stand up. It does a number in their body. But let's talk about the evolution of PEMF. In the early 20th century, EMF, electromagnetic fields, were introduced through radio and electricity in modern tech. And it was growing awareness in the mid to late 20th century. In the 1960s and 70s, that's when the scientists were exploring what pulsed electromagnetic field therapy could do to support cellular health and recovery. And then in the 2000s, there were these big, expensive PEMF devices popped up. And when I say expensive, we're talking 15, 20, $30,000 devices. It actually got very popular in the equestrian world. These trainers would give PEMF to their horses because horses are big animals, right? And they have small joints and they get arthritic in their joints. So it helps them recover when after racing and doing all this stuff. So, and also people like Shaquille O'Neal used PEMF therapy. There's actually a YouTube video on Shaquille O'Neal talking about how PEMF really made his career longer. It made him recover quicker from injuries. And a lot of big time athletes were using PEMF, but none of us really knew about it. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they kept it a secret from all us normal folk, right? Well, because it works. And if it works really well, do you think if you could, do biohacking where you could actually have wellness in your home, do you think you'd have to go to the doctors as much? Do you think you'd be maybe a healthier person? Absolutely, right? So then there was stuff like the Beamer mats that came out in the 2000s. They were $6,000 or $7,000 where you lay on them. It had some PEMF and things like that. And people got great results. Red light therapy, right? In the 2020s, that's when Olylife innovation happened. This company, blew it out of the water. And why, people always ask, if we talk about these devices to people, and by the way, it's brand new in the States. We're going to talk about timing in a minute. But people always ask, okay, why are people getting better results with these devices than they are with maybe the Beamers and all these other wands you can buy, these PEMF devices online? Why are they getting better results? Why does it seem like everybody's getting some sort of positive result? Why? Well, there's a reason for it. Okay, so Olylife, the company, they patented a unique combination of frequencies. So bringing together PEMF and radio frequency and terahertz energy. So the PEMF and the radio frequencies, those are the therapeutic energies, call them the healers. They heal the body. And while the terahertz energy acts as the carrier to drive the PEMF and radio frequency deeper into the body. That's the magic, ladies and gentlemen. No one's ever done the combination of frequencies. And that's why this company is doing the sales is doing. That's why when people get their feet on these devices or their body on these devices, they get results. And when you get results, what happens? Naturally, you tell people about it, right? And that's why this company is absolutely exploding. So, we'll talk about terahertz here. What is terahertz, right? In the P90 Plus, a couple of devices we have, activates cellular energy, improves blood flow, boosts brain and nerve function. How many people know somebody would like, to give this device to somebody because it would enhance their mood? Maybe a spouse, right? Right? Maybe you get a spouse, you're like, you need this device, right? So we have a state-of-the-art wellness devices. Okay, we got several here. The Terra P90 Plus, the P90 on the left side, that was the flagship product there, the flagship device in Asia. And they did $1 billion a second year just with that device alone. Absolutely incredible. And I'm going to go over a few of these devices now. And here's the cutting edge additions. We got the Ollie Spring coming. I believe this year, this is going to be absolutely incredible. It's going to rival the Kangen waters. It might be even better than the Kangen waters, which are, you're talking six, seven, eight, $10,000, spring water machines, right? So this is going to be incredible. The shake and massage, we'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, the P90, supports comfort, vitality, active lifestyle. You put your feet on this device here. This one actually goes for 30 minutes. And you know what? You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it work. There's some people that after one use on these devices, they may sleep better. They may feel their feet where they haven't felt them in years, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to talk about medical terms here. They may have better circulation. Their legs may feel lighter. There may be less swelling. But that some people get results the first day. Now it took me about 8 to 10 days to start feeling a little less pain in my legs. But what it does, it supports detox pathways, encourages natural energy flow and harmony, supports healthy circulation and metabolic function. The list goes on and on. Like I said, go look up PEMF and terahertz and what these devices can do. And the flagship products here, the Terra P90 Plus, the one on the bottom in the middle, that's the one everybody's getting now because of what it does. That's the upgraded P90. You only do it for 20 minutes. It goes up to level 20 instead of level 10 in the P90. It has a couple wands with it, for skincare. People are saying this Frost Age Beauty wand you plug into this device is like an instant facelift. It's incredible. There's also another wand there, that Revitalex wand that helps, has red light therapy, EMS, TENS, has all kinds of stuff where you can do spot treatment. A lot of chiropractors are using them in their practice for people to put on people's backs and bodies while they lay on their bench. And, a bunch of other devices as well. But what I want to do right now is I want to show you something here. I want to show you this video. This video is going to show a blood analysis of somebody before they jumped on our P90 Plus. As you can see, their blood under a microscope, which is most people. It's just clumped together, slow moving, not really doing much.
Wow. That's amazing.
Oops. Sorry.
It's amazing. Holy smokes.
You can see a 20-minute session. Look at her blood. Look at the blood flow. Moving, right? It's moving. You think she feels better? You think her legs and her body feel lighter, right? Absolutely. So there's a huge, there's huge benefits with these devices, and it's proven. I have someone that's part of our community here that has done this. She took her blood, got on the machine, and it was just like that video. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. So the global eye strain crisis, we all know there's a crisis going on, right? Children are exposed to screens 6+ hours a day. We are, right? Our eyes are getting worse. Overexposure to blue light can lead to digital eye fatigue. You know what? We can help with that. We got this Galaxy G1 Smart Eye Massager. Relieves eye strain and promotes relaxation, designed to help reduce eye fatigue and screen time, reading, and daily stress. This is my favorite one. It massages your temples. It feels great. And, it may assist in relieving tension that contributes to occasional eye discomfort. There's a lot of people that are getting great results with this, when it comes to their eyesight. And this one here is the most popular new device here, the Shake and Massager. I got to tell you, I've fallen in love with this as well. Trying to work on my midsection. It is summer, you know. This uses ultrasound, helps break down stubborn fat, works on visceral fat, heat therapy, high frequency vibration. You got radio frequency, red light, dynamic massage, and also PEMF. And I'll tell you what, and it comes with a smartwatch. This is such a great conversation piece. You know, this you wear this and people are like, what is that? It looks so futuristic and it feels amazing. I know people that want to use this every hour, but you don't want to use it every hour, but you can use it while you're cooking, cleaning, doing whatever, right? And wear it around the house whenever you want. So those are just a few of our devices. What I want to do right now is I want to invite on, I'm going to stop this share real quick, and I want to invite on someone real quick. Rochelle, Deanne, are you there? I want to invite you on. And if you want to tell everyone your testimonial real quick, if you would.
Can you hear me?
Sure can, loud and clear.
All righty. So my testimonial is probably leans more towards the subtle but undeniable changes and results that I've experienced in under 3 weeks. So I ordered the P90 Plus, and I think tomorrow will be 3 weeks from when I first got it. And I just wanted to support my overall health and wellness. I just wanted to have it in my house because I could. And so my very first 20-minute session on level one, I went in with no expectations because I always react to everything different than anybody else. And so I had like the best experience, a really deep sense of relaxation and feeling unbothered, just completely unbothered. And my mind's just always racing, going constantly strategizing. What am I going to do next? My life has been really crazy this year, a lot of chaos going on all around me. And so I just sat with it, and that effect lasted for about 4 hours. I was still relaxed, but I was almost in a trance. So that was great. I wanted the P90 Plus because I wanted the attachments. I wanted that frost wave so that I could start doing mini facelifts and just resetting my collagen because I'm 56 years old and I need to take care of myself. I've been my whole life taking care of everybody else, and I decided it's time for me. So that was my first session. And then a few days later, my friend came over to put her feet on the feet plate. And while she was sitting there with her feet doing her first session, I had picked up she was talking to me about some new supplements that I had just only had for a few days and wanted to know more about them. And I picked the bottle up to show her, and she was asking me some questions. And I couldn't find my readers, and I turned it around and read it, and I could read it. So I was already noticing a difference in my vision, and I'm like, what the heck is this? Um, and then I've been sleeping deeper because I'm needing less sleep, and I'm waking up feeling refreshed and rested, which it's never been a thing for me my entire life. So for me, these are all really undeniable changes. And then just last Sunday, I had my grandkids over for the night, Saturday night, and I got up to cook them breakfast out on my back patio on my black stone grill. And I was in shorts and a tank top, and some of the grease splashed off onto my leg, and I got a burn, like a grease splatter burn on my thigh. And I didn't think about using PEMF until last night and the red light, the RF red light frequency. When I was doing my last night session, I'm like, I ought to try the frost wave device on that with the red light. and I was on FaceTime while I was doing this with my niece. And I sat there and did it for a few minutes. And I showed her my burn before I started, but I didn't take a picture. And after 2 minutes, I looked down and you could see improvement. And so I stopped and took a picture then. And I shared it in our testimonial group this morning, the before and after picture from one session, but there was a lot of improvement there. So I was just blown away. It's like been a great investment in my health, and I just think it's awesome that we have this technology that we can make a difference in people's lives all over the world and get it into their homes. And I'm just super happy to be here. So that's my testimony.
That's awesome, Michelle. Thanks so much, Michelle. I appreciate you sharing that. And, I loved what you said. You're doing something for you. You know,
Mhm.
I think, especially moms, I think you're at the age right now, right, where you're like, okay, it's my time, right? You have kids, you have grandkids, right? I'm glad you're doing something for yourself. That really stood out for what you said. And congrats on getting the results you're getting. Your testimonial, as you know, is just one of thousands and thousands of people that are getting incredible results, like we talked about with these devices. So let's jump back into the presentation. Thank you again, Michelle. Appreciate it. So, hey, if you're here to see the devices, listen, I encourage you, like Michelle said, P90 Plus is the most popular one. It does so much for people. I'd highly encourage you to get that. And if you want to get other devices, you certainly can. But I would definitely start with the P90 Plus. So we're going to pivot now. I'm going to talk a little bit about the business side. So you may be here for the business. Maybe you just want to bring more income into the family, right? Or maybe you want to have more fun, whatever it is, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about why this business is a home run. And like I said, I've been in this industry 30 years. There's people on here that have been on here just as long. But even if you've only been in this industry, basically a year or whatever it is, right? Or you just maybe you've never been in this industry of direct sales. We like to call it relationship marketing, whatever you want to call it. This product is demonstratable. And I've never seen a product ever that I've shared that's so demonstratable. And you can actually feel it work, right? And even like Rochelle said, she started on level one, right? You can feel it working on level one, even. You don't need to go any higher in the first couple times because it's still going to do its job on level one. And it's not a huge lifestyle change, right? You're not buying a bunch of products, right? Every month. Nothing wrong with that, but it's a little bit different. But let's talk about timing, because timing matters more than talent. Okay, it really does. If you've ever been in the right place at the right time, we've always heard that, right? Oh man, I was in the right place at the right time. You're like, darn it, why couldn't I have been in the right place at the right time, right? Maybe you have friends that just blew it out of the water, right? Because they were there at that right moment. Well, I will share with you right now, you are all here at the right moment. Why do I say that? The company, like I said, is 3.5 years old. The startup phase is already gone. That's where most companies fail. And we're getting in now to the growth phase. Even though the company's 3.5 years old, it's brand new to the United States, brand new to Australia, brand new to Europe, brand new to South America, brand new all over the world. It's really brand new in Asia too. It's only 3.5 years old. It's not like it's a 25-year-old company. So if you look at that red dot there, how many of you guys understand what happens when a company explodes, right? That's where most people make the money, right? Let's talk about cell phones real quick, right? When cell phones came out, when people got into the cell phone industry, people made a lot of money, right? Because they rode that success, that wave of success, that explosion. Now everybody's got one. Everybody's got a cell phone, right? So there is that stability phase now with cell phones. Can people still make money selling iPhones and other stuff? Yeah, they can make money. But can you get rich doing it? Probably not, unless you invent something else, right? Unless something new comes out and you get in front of that. So, I always like to say if, you see a train going 100 miles an hour west and you jump on that train, where are you going? You're going 100 miles an hour west, right? Whether you like it or not. And that's us right now. That's Olylife. We're going 100 miles an hour west. I like to say, actually, it's not even a train, it's a rocket ship right now. So the key to business success is seizing the right moment. And so, how do you seize the right moment? Well, our global business model right now is an entry. You get a device, and that's it. And you're in business, whether you want to be or not. Okay. There's no extra cost to be in business. It can be used by the whole family. It's not something you're going to use and then you're going to buy another one and buy another one, buy another one. It's not a consumable product. It's a device. and it's global ready. There's no auto ship. There's no buying products every single month. You know, people are kind of tired of that. Nothing wrong with it. If you like a product, you're going to keep buying it. But when a company requires you to keep buying products every month or have enough customers to satisfy your commitment to make money, that's an old style. People are tired of that, right? There's daily payout, there's high retention because people love these devices. And you can start anyway, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 6,000, whatever you want to start. But there is a difference where you start. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'm not going to talk about all 7 ways to earn. I'm going to talk about a few of them. But the main thing, like I spoke about, is there's no joining fee, no subscription. You're active forever with a one-time purchase. You can build international teams, and there's also passive potential. So we actually build our structure, our structure is a binary compensation plan. Binary means two. You're going to build two teams here. You're not going to build more than two. It's very, very simple. It's the most community-driven compensation plan in our industry. So when you actually go out and you share a device with somebody, that first device, that first person is going to go on your left side. And the second one's going to go on your right. And by the way, if you've never done this before, it's very simple. We're here to help you. But I'm going to talk about something I've never seen before in this industry, and I guarantee you haven't either. Okay. And that's this team bonus. Okay. So when you come in for $1,000, and let's say you come in directly the next spot in that binary, you come on board, and let's say Jan's right above you, and Jan makes $1,000. Well, you're going to make 5% of Jan's money. You're going to make $50. Now, and she's above you. So not below you. She's not on your team. You're actually on her team, but you're making money off what Jan makes. Isn't that crazy? So if you come in for $1,000, you can make up to 3 times your investment. You can make $3,000 when Jan makes $60,000 eventually. Well, you're going to make $3,000. Okay. And if you come in for $1,500, you can make up to $4,500. If you come in for $2,000, you make up to $6,000 off of Jan's income. And if you come in for $6,000, you can make up to $18,000 off of Jan's income. I've never seen anything like that before. It's usually you make money on your downline, not your upline. Really neat thing. There's a lot of people in this company that are just customers. They just got the devices. They love the devices, but they're not comfortable sharing. They don't want to tell anybody about it. Maybe they want to keep it to themselves, right? And they're not sharing these devices, but they're making money because they're placed below someone in that binary that actually is out there building the business, sharing it, making money, and that person that's just a customer is making money. I've never seen anything like it. It's pretty special. We also have a direct sales bonus. When you go out and you share a device with somebody, you're going to make 10% of the point value. So a $1,000 device is 750 point value. You're going to make $75. If somebody goes out and gets a P90 Plus from you, it's 1,125 point value. You're going to make $112.50. In addition to that, if someone goes out and purchases a P90 Plus and maybe the goggles, which is $2,000, you're going to make $150 performance bonus. And if someone's like a chiropractor or a wellness studio, and maybe they're going to do, shows and events and stuff, and they want a lot of devices, somebody buys $6,000, you make $450 one-time bonus. But let's talk about something also that I've never seen the power of this. When I saw this company a little over a year ago with my sponsor, Tuan and Van, it wasn't ready in America. That's why I didn't decide to do it. But when Tuan and I saw this compensation plan, it blew us out of the water. So here you are at the top here, right? You come in and you share a device and you bring in A1. That person goes on your left first, and then you bring in B1. And both people come in for just $1,000 device. Well, you're going to make a $375 tier bonus. The first one left, first one right is going to spark a tier bonus for you. And then you don't even bring in A2 or B2. The A1 and B1 bring in A2 and B2. In the green there, you make another $375 bonus. And it keeps growing to infinity. I mean, I've never seen anything quite this rich. But let's talk about most people are coming in for a $2,000 investment. The P90 Plus and the goggles, they're just great devices. If both people A and B you bring on board, get a $2,000 device or $2,000 worth of devices, you're going to make a $750 tier bonus. If both people come in for the P90 Plus, which is it's 1125 in volume, you're going to make $562.50 tier bonus, which a lot of people are making that. And if both people come in for $6,000, you can make a $22.50 tier bonus. So let's talk about how this works, okay? So Tuan and Van are my sponsors. They actually made $1 million in this company in just 11 months. The first millionaires outside of Asia. And they're out there just sharing away. Why did they make that money that quick? Well, because they were first to the market, okay? They started building this, last June, essentially. quietly in America. It wasn't really building because there was no tools. It took 2 months to get these devices once you ordered it. There was no credit card processing. It was all through cryptocurrency. So it grew very slow here, but they grew it in Asia. They grew it in Europe. They grew it in Australia. So they brought me on board. Let's say I bring you on board. I go out there and I tell you about these devices, and you go, "Oh my gosh, I want this device." And you just waiting for the device. You logged into your free back office. You're looking at everything. Go, "Wow, this is really cool." And what happens is Tuan and Van actually share with somebody else, and you were lucky that they put that person directly on your left side. It's called spillover. Now, is spillover guaranteed? No, it's not guaranteed. Okay. It's actually a gift. You might be lucky enough to get spillover from the people above you, and maybe not. It just depends where you are. Okay. Now, and then I go out and I share it with somebody, and that person goes directly on your left as well. And then you actually follow the simple system, right? I teach you the system, and basically, one phone call, I say, let's say you're Jan. I say, Jan, listen, all you do is you're going to take a picture of this P90 Plus. I'm going to give you the picture because you don't have the device yet. And all you're going to do is say, hey, Rochelle, have you seen this device yet? And Rochelle's going to say, no, what is it? And you say, it's a PEMF device. And she's going to go, what's PEMF? And you say, hey, do you use any kind of AI? Go ask AI or Google, what are the benefits of PEMF? And when she does that, she's going to see it's all positive, right? And then you might send her a quick little video, 6-minute video about PEMF. And then you might send her that blood analysis video, 30-second blood analysis video we showed a minute ago. And she's going to go, what the heck? Oh my gosh. And then you can add it to our Facebook testimonial page. Let's say you do all those things, right? And then basically Jan comes on board. She comes down, the first person goes down your left. And for this illustration, we're going to pretend that everybody that's coming on board right now is getting $2,000 worth of devices. So when you bring Jan on your first one on the left, you're going to get a $150 performance bonus. Remember, 10% of the volume on $2,000 is $1,500. And then what happens is you're going to bring your second person on. They're going to go on the right side. The second person sparks a tier bonus for you. You also get a performance bonus, another 150, but you're going to get your first $750 tier bonus. And then what happens is the people that Tuan and Van and myself bring on board, they bring their first people, which go down automatically down the left side of you. And then your first person, Jan, brings on someone on the left side as well. And then, someone else brings someone on the left side. So your left side is fortunate enough it's helped by the people above you potentially. And then what happens is you bring your third person on. You're going to get another performance bonus, another $750 tier bonus. Then you're going to bring your fourth person on, going to repeat it again. And then look at tier 4. You didn't bring either one of those people in, but your second person brought their first person that goes on the left. And you didn't bring either one of those people in, but you still made a $750 tier bonus. I mean, that's powerful. Wouldn't you guys agree? And then what happens is your third person brings their first person on. You get another tier bonus, tier 5. You bring in your fifth person, also your sixth person. You get 2 more performance bonuses, 2 more tier bonuses. And if you look at this illustration here, with just 14 people, but you only brought on 6 people, you're $900 in performance bonuses and over $5,000 in tier bonuses, equaling over $6,000. And you only brought in 6 people. Now, is this guaranteed to happen just like this? No, but this is just an illustration. Also, what happens is you also get volume from all these devices. It's going to be 1,500 point value for each $2,000 worth of devices. Times 7 people on the left and right is going to equal 10,500 in PV. What does that do for you? Well, you get actually a share. You hit the first leadership rank of M1. And the company every year takes 5% of the company's annual revenue and shares it among qualified M1s and M2s and M3s all the way to M7. And the only reason to keep that every year, like literally you could do nothing. All you got to do is sponsor 1 new device per year to keep that qualification and keep getting that passive income. As the company grows, your income grows. And here's the different levels here: M2, M4, M10. I'm sorry, M3, M4. You get more and more shares the higher ranks you get. So just let me set a recap here real quick for you. What's really neat about this company, there's a lot of reasons why people are winning here. There's a lot of reasons why I say this is the best thing I've done in 30 years by far. One of the reasons is the timing. We talked about the timing. Nobody knows about these devices. Talked about seizing the right moment. Talk about how this is demonstratable. You heard Rochelle's testimonial tonight. These devices flat out work. They work. They work so much better than any devices out there because, again, the patent technology we spoke about as well. So they're demonstratable. And when people get results, what do they want to do? They want to organically share it with people. They're going to tell people about it, right? And when people realize it's a one-time purchase and not an auto ship, it's a big deal. It's refreshing, right? And I've never seen, for those that want to partake in the business, I've never seen a compensation plan this rich. I've never seen people that have never made money in this industry make five, six, $7,000 the first 30 days, just sharing these devices, maybe doing a post on social media with their feet on the device. I mean, it's the most incredible thing I've ever experienced in my 30 years, and I just feel so blessed to be here. So with that, I appreciate you. Get it back to the person that invited you on here, or maybe share the replay with you, and get started. Experience what you're going to experience with these devices, and then go share it with the world, because you know what? We need to go out and help more people get healthier and feel better. It just feels good when you do that. And by doing that with a bunch of people, you're going to help yourself and your family with the finances. So thank you so much, you guys. Take care and take charge. Bye bye, everybody.